So we're about 2 hours beyond the river, and we've had all that drama and situation behind you, and you apparently hope you have a bit of time now. You're on the main thoroughfare. There's 3 cycles. Mongo and the rest of you confer around your maps, and you realize there's 3 cycles to an intersection. If you look at either map, of course, you'll see said intersection where the main path apparently goes to the right, and there's a secondary passage to the left that goes in the right direction until it veers off into the unknown. Further up is the Shrine of the Kutoa, and there, well, you were hoping to bypass it. It is a hub. That shrine is in an important area of the Underdark. In this region, it's possibly the most important area. It's where a lot of crossroads meet. And you're at that point, Canon Arcadia, your drow tag along, is going to part ways. That the deal was that at that point she would find her own way. And then you were going to carry on either to the city to bring an end to this bubble of Loth, as you come to know it, or whatever happens. No side adventures have popped up as of yet, except at the shrine where the rumor has it Leto, 4 or 5 weeks ago now, was there. And there's knowledge of him there, and whether he's still there is probably unlikely at this point, or maybe not. It could be like the Han Solo thing, he's frozen in carbide or whatever.
Carbonite.
Yeah, that's it. Um, but there's a trail there, and he's your friend, and he apparently was at the city, and he'd been in the Underdark doing investigations, but he had disappeared. Um, and that's where we stand right now. So as far as I know, you guys are moving in the same direction, but you're going to be taking a double shift of rest here and completely recuperate, recharge, get your spells back, resolve a couple issues, and then also get a strategy for the upcoming encounter, either at the shrine or at that, even at that intersection, which has nothing on your map. There's nothing there. It's a mystery one. There's no clues um, at all. And a couple hints, perhaps, yeah, Canon Arcadia, whether she's willing to talk or not, and Willie, being a drow and so on, she's from the city of Erelhe Sinlu, and she has been around. She's at least 6th level priestess of Loth, at least, and you have to be that high level to graduate into the priesthood, or what would you call the female version of the priesthood? That would be
Convent or none
no,
or
that's like a monastery. That's our
oh, that's fair. Yeah, I'm not sure.
uh, anyhow. My mind's blocking up on me at the moment. Yeah,
Priestesshood.
priestesshood.
Which
There we
yeah,
go.
Priestesshood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cannon has been playing her card well. She's got her confidence back. You've noticed. At first, you found her naked and shaven. Uh, and she does look odd, by the way, Gary. This drow. She makes great lengths to cover her head because somebody has shaved her hair.
Uh,
And you can ask what happened to her and how they found her and how she's drawn in, and they could let you know. So that's the setting, the background of session 15 of the Underdark, where the river is kind of the halfway mark on the map, anyway. And I'll let you guys carry it for a little bit here. I'm going to make a couple rolls. I know how long, unless you change your mind, you have to give me a bit of a. If there's an encounter or something happens, I can know when and who's on watch and so on. Yeah,
well,
go.
my
Go.
question for initially was um, like, who am I spending watch with? Because that's who I want to know who I'm speaking with. Right. So, who is your first watch and who's your last watch? Do you guys know?
Um,
Um.
and
Well,
you know what?
Bodica and Core and Tolak and Silk all need to have long rest to memorize spells correctly, so
yeah.
they should be
So
first and last. I mean, Hondo and I can take a watch in the middle. Um, Dredrick and Mongo and um, the others can all throw in the middle somewhere too. Did Bodica, did you want to go with Tolak on the first one, and then we'll have Silk on the morning one with maybe Mongo, and then we got Guiden and Dredrick, and then Hondo and myself in the two in the middle.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
Does that sound all right, Tolak?
Just need to know we're in there.
Yeah.
A little bit longer before I get to sleep, but drowsy conversation.
But then it gives you a good long sleep. You can sleep a full straight 8 hours and get a full night's sleep at that point.
Okay, remember you have NPCs as well.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
Dredrick's...
Dredrick and Hondo and Mongo were all in that list.
Okay, pardon me. Give me them real quick again, Dean. I'm going to type them out on this sheet.
So Bodica and Tolak were on 1. 2 would be we'll say Zhang and Hondo. 3 would be Guiden and Dredrick. That would leave Silk and Mongo on the 4th one. Do we got any more than that? Oh, we just lost Scott.
Oh, shit. All right, so if I'm correct, these are the 4 shifts. Sounds good. So, as stated, during everybody can state what they're going to be doing if they're taking this shift to rest or to get spells back or to train. I mean, some of you had ideas. Perhaps first shift you just want to rest.
First shift is a rest. While I'm well on watch with Bodica, I do not have dark vision, so I'm going to say you're going to have to watch that one a little more closely than I. But if we could chat, it seems like you're a priest of Erastil. Is that correct?
Yes.
I think that given the numbers and the situation, we may want to coordinate some spells in the morning. Do you have a preference on what you take?
I tend to prefer to do healing and protective spells. However, I am while I am a priestess of Elastare,
Oh, sorry.
oh shoot. My main focus was in Ranger before, so I am not a particularly powerful cleric.
Do you have the ability to create food?
Yes.
Then I will not memorize that in the morning. If you want to cover that one, I will grab something else.
I can do that.
And do you have the ability to cure more serious wounds?
I can only do moderate wounds. I cannot do serious. Or I can do serious, not critical.
Okay. Then, okay. I will so much utility at the cost of for heal spells. How badly wounded is the rest of the party? That is my next question.
Not very. I think Guiden might need a little bit, but I think everyone else has been pretty well taken care of.
Okay, so I'm the only one that's badly messed up then. Got it.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Then I will hold off on taking create food in the morning. I will take a prayer and some other support-based spells more so then, I guess, with a sprinkle of healing added in.
That sounds excellent.
Okay, I can do that.
Do we need the create food, or do you think we can kind of scavenge as we go? I mean, the drow have a fairly, compatible diet, and we're about to get a lot of fresh sushi.
I think we're still a few days off from that.
Kutoa rolls.
Your microphone's not working, Dean.
Mine's not.
I haven't been talking myself. Pardon me. I've been letting you guys go. This is good. You guys working it through. Okay. First shift, by the way. Who is out there? Bodica Tolak.
Yeah.
Now I did have a map present, but I've been busy doing stuff. So I'll leave it for just so you know. For the moment, you found sort of a rest area where others have stayed. You can tell because there's little niches and stuff carved around, and people have made, their presence, and there's graffiti and stuff carved in rocks and things in different languages. There's also a stream that happens to be close by, and you checked it out, and it's clean. And you're only about 100 feet along like a little crack on the side of the main passageway that branches off, if you follow. It's pretty obvious, though. Anybody could look in the crack and see, there's, unless you hid around the edges. Now, I'm assuming that you guys have made a camp, and do you want to go in a complete hide mode that makes things more tricky? You're on a made train route at the point, so
that would be more suspicious than just setting up camp, wouldn't it?
it could be. That's what I mean. It's at this point you can be pretty open, and you should be able to have a free pass, but there's no guarantees in the Underdark. That's the one benefit of being on one of the main passageways, is that it's usually under the control of some faction, or unless some purple worm stumbles through it or something, of course, or who knows. Yeah. And so
Okay. Yeah, I don't see any reason at this point. I don't think we discussed it last week of hiding. We were just taking the rest as the rest stop, as our traveling rest stop. And
I'm doing a test here. You shouldn't be able to see this roll in roll 20, right? I just rolled. You guys can't see that. Okay, good.
I can see that one.
You did?
Yep.
I rolled a 9?
yep, on a D10.
What? Okay.
So, Bodica, at what point would you be most likely to make contact with your deity for the moon being up and all that kind of stuff? At some point when you wanted to, Zhang was going to go ahead and spend some time with you to connect with nature and stuff too.
The closest that I can get to my goddess is at night when the moon is at its highest apex in the sky. So typically right around midnight.
For Zhang, we are a long way from any open sky, so the Sky Dragon is not likely to be around here, but she's going to do her best to find some animal or messenger from the Celestial Emperor to try and communicate with the Sky Dragon, because we're a long way from his domain.
Real quick question, Darren.
Yeah.
For hit points healed overnight, would I get 4 times 2 plus 4 for an 8-hour shift, or would I get 4 times, or would I just get the 8 base plus Constitution for the night?
You're fighter subclass, multi-class, so you get 2 hit points per hour and rest.
So for all 6 or 8 hours, I would get 2
for one shift. Yeah.
Okay.
No, 8 times 2. You'd get 16 hit points.
Okay, I was just doing them like, do I do half and half, or what do I do here?
No.
Okay.
You're fighter subclass. You get the benefits of that, and then you also get your con bonus overall. So if you have
Okay.
extra 2, you'd get 18 hit points back over that shift. And that goes with everybody if you have some sort of fighter type, so rangers and but thieves and magic users basically get 1 hit point an hour plus their constitution bonus over a shift.
That makes a huge difference over the 8 hours when I take the extra 2 hours into the start of the next one.
Oh no,
I'm,
you know the way we did it, pardon me. We did it that you get 1 hit point an hour plus you get constitution bonus per hour. Is the way I homebrewed it. And so on the fighter tables, you'll see that it works out. So in your case, your constitution was 15,
16.
16. You get 3 hit points an hour back.
3 hit points an hour.
Yeah,
Okay. That makes it substantially bigger difference then.
sure.
So that's over 12 hours or over 6 hours I get 18 as compared to over 6 hours I get 8.
For sure.
Okay.
We're taking an 8-hour rest because that's why we took the double up so that we could sleep the extra. Because we haven't had a decent rest in a long time, for a couple of weeks.
So go ahead. We're on to Zhang and Hondo's watch.
Okay.
Nothing's happened.
Zhang's gonna spend the entire watch with her cloak and boots on, basically stationed out near the entrance to keep a watch on anything that may come up there, and just basically remain totally immobile. So, she's going to hold off for the training time till later on when everybody's awake doing other things. She's not going to
Next
do
shift.
that while everybody's sleeping.
It's a pretty quiet shift. Not much happens. There's always a couple little scares, and your head twists around. You hear something screech or twitter or slither. Hard to tell. And it always seems there's boogeymen in the shadows. But it's not long before Gwyden and Drederick are talking, and Drederick's having a pipe full. And you know he's going to get an eye by Gwyden for that. But they've been smoking and stuff, and on watch. You know you're not supposed to really
Double
smoke on
travel's
watch.
a long way down here.
Yeah, and but you guys haven't been hiding the fact, so you have been perhaps even had a fire or cooking dinner or something, or making tea.
Yeah.
Unless you're. But anyway, Gwyden, if you wanted to do anything, so but Drederick's kind of giving you an eye. He's going, so sir, you better watch your back, or you're gonna get more than just a few scratches.
One thing I would like to talk to Cannon about. I'd like her to talk to me about her father. I want to find out what the men kind of do, you know, how they. I want to make sure there's no like Black Widow stuff going on.
Well, I guarantee there's that going.
Okay. Now, you haven't included her in any watch cycle or anything, and then she hasn't volunteered either. She's kind of always usually ends up. You notice that she does take precautions, though. She's usually nestled into her own little spot near you guys, though. She knows it's dangerous down here. And over the last, you broached that subject to her. I'll have to get back to that a minute because I just rolled the dice for your watch a minute, and nothing has happened so far for Gwyden and Drederick. But he goes off because he sees you're not in a talking mood, so he kind of mumbles something about, you know, women always bring down the best generals, and mumbling something. And Gwyden, you find yourself looking off and wondering, and you did talk to her earlier. You had a moment where you felt that her guard was down, let's say, and you broached the subject of her father, and she turned frosty instantly, and you can tell it was an emotional reaction, and your knowledge of the Drow and their culture is somewhat limited, but you do know that the men are very much subjugated in many ways. It's a matriarchy in the truest sense. The women dominate most of the powers, but the men do have their role and their place. And when you mentioned the father, she didn't want to really talk about it. And you're trying to think. Give me a intelligence check, Gwyden, to see what you picked up from Bodica and such about Drow culture, and because that's interesting question.
7, so it's underneath my intelligence. So that's good, I think, right?
Yeah. In the noble houses, it's often common to have, for the females, of course, who dominate the houses, they have usually consorts and official consorts that are often put out of the way once they've served a purpose or become weak or done something stupid or connived or who knows, right? In court politics of the Drow, it's intense. And you had a moment there where she looked at you for a second, her eyes went wide like a deer before she turned quite frosty and left. Just you surmise that she probably never had a father, or her father was probably killed or unknown to her. Not always the
And
case.
that's kind of that's where I want to. That's kind of where I want to go about her family in general. If she wants to talk about her mom and that sort of thing, but at some point I want to get back to finding out if she ever knew her dad, and if not, why not.
Sure.
Like I said, with the Drow and the spider influence, I just want to be careful about, the possibility of the whole Black Widow thing,
Yes. And later on, it's like nothing happened. She ignores you completely in the group and so on, which you shrug in your own way and whatever. But on watch, you had time to think about it. Yeah, you're like, and you might even, I don't know if your character smokes or whatever though, but probably pretty stern. And things go by, and we're off to Silk and Mongo. And they seem to get along pretty good. Mongo's like, well, I guess I can't be napping during this one. It's been pretty quiet.
Yes, too quiet. I'm going to take the time to look at some of that graffiti just to see if I can find anything interesting in it. So I'm just going to do like a read languages rule. Like it.
Ah.
Nope.
Yeah, it's...
Torgax was here.
Yeah, and phallic symbols and stuff, right?
What's this about Stacy's mom?
Yeah.
What's this for a good time called rhetoric?
8675309.
There's a party approaching from, well, we'll just say up north, because it sort of is, as far as Mongo tells you. And there's one from the north end of the passage. There's a party approaching, not making any bones about it. And it's giving off, there's a sort of greenish blue light being emitted from it. And it flickers around, and it reminds you of...
Probably Drow then.
No, you don't know. Well, that's something new. But no, it's not Drow.
Merchants.
They're approaching, and they should be within hailing distance in a matter of moments.
Yeah, well, I nudge a few people up and just like, we got company.
And it was, right near
I'll
the...
go to wait here, and I'll go around and poke people. Yeah.
Mongo's like, oh, look at that. They're giving off a lot of light for the underdog.
Yes, I'm suspecting merchants, but down here, you never know. Perhaps slavers.
All right. Anybody want to get up? Or continue what you're doing?
Zhang will make ready, but not necessarily go out to show any alarm, but be ready in behind. She doesn't have to don any armor or anything like that, so she can just be awake to be awake.
It would take much too long for me to put my armor on to do anything with it.
Yeah, does it look like inevitably they're going to see us, or does it seem like they might just be able to skirt by?
Hard to tell. they're not making a whole lot of noise. Like they're smart enough or just cautious enough not to be that obvious. Um, you could go investigate or wait for them to approach if you want. And
Yeah.
Mongo's kind of around a pillar, kind of a stalactite. He's in a little nook. He's got his hammer and he's kind of shrugging at you, going, I don't know, just should we say hi or just let him go by?
I'm gonna hide in the shadows, and I'm gonna go just do a little recon mission just to get an idea of who it is and numbers. I've got that techno cloak.
All right. Anyone else? No problem. You're slinking up now. Hide in shadows isn't going to help you much against creatures that can see in the dark, but these ones seem to be
No,
emitting
that's
light.
the whole thing in the Underdark. There's a different way of hiding in the shadows. You hide in heat shadows rather than dark shadows.
Right.
Yeah.
And those techno cloaks are designed for the Underdark, like a elven cloak is for the forest.
Yeah.
They give a similar situation.
Okay.
Yeah, I've written a little blurb on that in the Underdark book.
Yeah, no, good call. Yeah, that's right. I remember something about that.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
Not going out, but being ready in the background if something happens.
Lox will sit up long enough to put his belt on, and that's it.
Yeah, I'll be ready in case I hear conflict, but until then I will, just be toward the back.
He puts his belt on. He doesn't bother picking up his, looking for a weapon or anything, just the belt. And then he basically lies back down, keeps his ears open.
Okay, you see some large slugs and they're pulling wagons. Giant slugs. As you sneak up, Silk. And they got these giant slugs are emitting light from their eye sockets, kind of an eerie kind of glow that's flicking around. And amongst these slugs are these tall, well, you've seen them before. They're the same creature that had steered you across the river, Kutoa. And they're average, you realize these things are pretty large, at least 7 feet tall, 8 feet tall easily, and large, probably weigh about 600, 700 pounds each, these Kutoa, right? And these ones are guiding these snails along, and there's a group of 4 of them, and they're wearing these strange... Pardon? There's 4 of them that are walking behind the slugs, and they are bearing something amongst them. It's sort of a black and veined turquoise chest that sort of looks ornamental. It's kind of looks like one of those Shinto shrines, and they're carrying it on their shoulders with these poles. There are about 15 warrior types of these that are carrying nets, and some of them have these man catcher devices. It looks like these long poles that have this mechanic contraption where they can grapple something and lock it. So once they lock that control, it doesn't let go. And they're moving up the passageway, and there's a weird kind of humming chant coming from the 4. It looks...
Sorry, I had to make a sale there.
Sorry, say again?
Yeah, the farm's kind of got been going. Sorry. So there's some so it's a party Kutoa.
Yes.
Okay. The giant slugs in that. Do they have like slaves or anything like that, or?
Yes. There's a train of slaves in the back. There's some lizards. Now the snails are carrying on in their wagons a porcelain. Like there might be somebody in the wagon.
Oh yeah, some sort of head honcho.
And it's pretty fancy and intricate. And like I said, there's 15 these big hulking warrior types, and then behind them there's a train of what appear to be slaves, mostly actually humans. Probably
Yeah, so
about,
they've been raiding the
yeah,
surface.
probably about 15, again, slaves, mostly humans, yeah.
Hmm. Well, you know how I feel about slavery. I'm not sure about the other characters, but
But anyway, your characters there watching, they're not really hiding or anything. They seem to be just moving by this
okay. I'll re-
pilgrimage.
I'll report back to the party then.
You slip back quickly, and Mongo's like, look, he's trying to get a look, but he's still a ways back. He's pretty noisy, and he's trying
We
to be
got some of
quiet.
our we got some of our big fishy friends, and it seems they have a bunch of human slaves.
Damn. All right. He's
How
like,
I feel about slavery.
how do you feel about slavery? Kind of, he asks.
Well, I was in prison for I don't know how long, and half my memory's gone, so I'm a little bitter.
Okay. So he starts to slink back, but he's fully armored and stuff. He does make a bit of noise. Now whoever is up, can intercede, but you see Silk come back and give you news that there seems to be some entourage going toward you.
Yeah, and that there might be some sort of there's a divan or something with possibly some sort of probably the leader of whatever it is, the head honcho, a number of large snails.
Do we wanna cause a ruckus now, guys, or what do you think? There's some slaves to rescue, but if it's a
We can't save the world, so no.
Okay, did
Brother,
anybody go out to see this, or are you all staying back? Remember, you're about 100 and 150 feet away from the actual main passage. If you stayed back, you can't see what's going on or hear anything.
Zhang got up. She didn't go all the way out to the front entrance, but she got up and went to support, but not out. Everybody else, I think, is still at the campsite,
Okay, and yeah,
So
no,
Locke
no
still
problem.
needs it.
still in this.
Awesome. Uh, so Zhang, and I'll also say that Drederick was there, so you can give me a roll for Drederick, and Zhang, I'll give you a roll, and Silk, you can also
Mhm.
get a roll for. It would be hear noise. Now Drederick, you have to basically make a plus 10 dexterity.
Once.
Oh, it looks like Silk and Zhang both made it.
Okay, well, what surprised you was that how quietly this person moved that came into the passageway, and you hadn't seen him yet. And he steps kind of out of the shadows, and you could tell he was kind of sneaking a bit and being really ultra quiet, but not quite quiet enough. And it's another one of these Kutoa, but this one looks a bit different than the others. This one is dressed different. He's wearing these yellow kind of light robes in his own way, and with his fish eyes have this intensity to them as you haven't seen in these kind. You haven't seen many. And he moves with this lithe grace that reminds you, Zhang, of monk training. He also has exotic weapons that you recognize as martial weapons, in particular to his race. You can recognize different shaped blades and devices meant to catch. All the blades and weapons he have hooks and designed to unarm and perhaps cut ligaments and things.
Ah.
Or take the slaves.
Is there anything about him that I could determine what kind of martial system he's from, or anything like that?
That's the thing. They're ancient, and you recognize this is an ancient order, and you recognize there's something tickling your mind, like the way he moves and such. But he does realize that somebody's here, right? He sees the encampment, and you see that he stands up suddenly and looks much like the others a bit, and he holds up his hand and he says something in their weird tongue, but the pilgrims don't stop their weird gurgling murmur, and it's this weird gurgling effect they make out of their gills, and they're chanting to the goddess Bloodabloop, you realize, and it sends shivers down your spine, Zhang. And this creature looks at you and goes, And he looks around and he goes, ah. He speaks in Underdark in a very cultured clip, and it comes out a bit of a blipple though. He's, bloop. I see. Somebody is in a spot. I say, we pass by. Do you allow? If do
I
you speak Underdark?
Undercommon, yes.
Undercommon? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've pretty much picked it up to a fair degree. Yeah.
And the entourage does stop. You see the slaves attend. Actually, the slaves are dressed up quite neatly and stuff, and they're not like whipped down, beaten, bloody slaves chained up. They have the collars of the slaves, but the collars are well made and of pure silver. You see, and they're also they're wearing like a heraldry. They wearing that same kind of yellow motif. You can see that they're attendants of the animals, of the snails, and they attend to the needs of the pilgrims. It appears.
Yeah.
Reminds me of the girl. They have that same look, and they're quite dedicated. It looks like.
That explains a few things, and she was probably a slave of the temple that was attending with the crossing guy.
Okay, well, I'm going to engage this particular person. I'm going to say it back. I'm going to say, yes, our apologies. We did not mean to interfere with your travel plans, but we have no quarrel with you. We are simply on our ways to another place.
He does this odd kind of quirking sideways bow bit you see their kind do when you have. Pretty rare.
Turn it. Best I can.
You are on a mission, trade mission perhaps, in the Underdark. Surface dwellers, it appears. You have the mark of the holy light upon you, or the unholy light.
Me?
Yeah. Even after 3 weeks, you guys have marks.
Sure what this unholy light you speak of is. I'm intrigued.
You've got a suntan, dude.
Suntan. He doesn't like the sun.
Gwyden, you feel a hand grip your forearm, and you realize Cannon's there, and she's like, don't let them see me.
Right. I'll kind of move in front of her and just kind of puff up a little bit and do my best to sort of obscure her presence.
You guys are pretty much out of sight anyway, but
Yeah.
Zhang will return a bow to this guy who seems to be of another monastic order, and say like, I see you're also of a order, and we need not cross at this time. We are most gracious to let you pass.
Yes, we're merely on our way to Airless Sinwulu. We have business there to attend to.
He doesn't seem to really react. He kind of gives a bit of an odd quirk with his head again, and he switches his head switched back and forth once in a while. You can see as the eyes on either side are just taking everything, and he seems not to relax. And you haven't seen many of the Kutoa, and you wonder what their structure's like and how they came to dominate parts of the Underdark. You can see now how they did at one point. And
they're big creatures. Then they're, you say, over 7-8 feet tall.
Yes, and you can tell they're very powerful and probably fast. If you've seen a fish swim, and he goes, well, the river is nigh, and one of our brethren watches over. Are things safe? Have you come from that direction?
Indeed, we have. Merely a few hours ago, your companion granted us passage across the river, and we carried on.
Well, we were having.
Do you bear a token at all?
We paid platinum for our passage. We do not.
Oh, sorry.
We do not have a token you mention. For which is this?
And he again, it doesn't appear to give a reaction, but he goes, "Ah, the token." And he reaches up into a little parcel that's on, he has kind of a webbing gear on that's intricately, and you see flows with his body and doesn't get in the way whatsoever. And he reaches back, and you can tell under his arms there's like webbing and stuff that's intricately sewn in, and allows you realize, Zhang, that that's an ancient art of you can catch weapons and stuff in the folds. And he goes, things like these. And he holds his large hand out. And intricately manicured, you realize, the nails. Very clean. And the palm, there are some shells.
Ah,
So, you mean us no ill? As a token, I give you one. This. A pilgrim's token. Those of us carry it, in semblance to the Holy Mother. And he gives out some weird noise.
thank you. We graciously accept your gift.
We will shortly rest here, if you do not mind. You have taken the rest area. That we understand. We will do so out here. Sorry, we do not mean to inconvenience your troop.
No problems to us, Brent.
We just got here a few hours ago, so we will be still several hours, likely more than a full cycle yet before we move on, as we were very, very tired when we got here.
So it looks
Having-
like they're going to be camping beside you. Okay, sorry, Zhang, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
Just basically saying that we're going to be a relatively long time here. We just started, and that we're probably going to be more than a full cycle yet, as we were extremely tired after the before crossing, and just took the first rest area we came to.
Ah,
Oh,
so,
Should we warn them about the pissed off bugbears at the fair?
I was just gonna say that.
Wait.
Exactly. I was gonna say.
okay,
yes,
everybody just hold on,
remnants-
everybody. Just hold on, let's role play this,
remnants of
please.
bugbears, perhaps don't mention
Brad,
we weren't. I'm speaking directly to him, aren't I?
I don't know, are you?
Yes.
Okay.
Like I'm standing right there. Yeah, so we just tell them if you run into the bugbears and ask, and if the chief then asks if you've seen us, just that you haven't. We weren't on his best side.
Ah, what do you talk about? A bugbear, chieftain?
Yes.
That is not our concern.
Hmm.
Is he a
Okay.
threat to us?
Not likely to you. You have a powerful enough group there that I doubt he'll give you much hassle.
How much
Yeah.
are there of you? What brings you to the Underdark? If I may
We have-
ask, I'm just curious, of course.
Yeah. We have a mission that is our own business, as much as you guys assume have your own business. We do not wish to share.
Ah, of course. I will leave you to your business then. We will be just down a ways, and I bid you away. And he nods that odd nod, turns around, he gives a weird order in that strange clicking tongue. The pilgrims never stop their chant, carrying their odd ark.
Hmm.
And the procession starts up and goes a little ways. Anybody watching, not hiding anything really, and they set up a camp in the main passageway. There's a little kind of bulge, a secondary part. There are, so they're not directly in the way. You guys got the prime spot here, and it seems this is a common area for people to stop before they hit the river or whatever.
What
or
are
after.
they carrying? What are they carrying in the ark? Curious if we.
I don't think
if
we
it's-
really want to ask that.
I'm gonna ask. I'm gonna ask Cannon. I'm gonna ask Cannon what they might be carrying. See if she has any idea what it is that
Yeah, that's okay.
what they're doing. Maybe she has some familiarity with their ways.
Now your drow is becoming very good, she says to you. And she's always correcting you, but it's pronounced this. And when you speak to an inferior, you must use this pronoun, like this. Just you chuckle because she's,
Hmm.
you know, you can
Because
see
he's
the,
using that pronoun with me.
yeah, oh yeah, she's, but in her sense,
Oh,
you get a chuckle because you just see them, you get in the mindset of a drow priestess as well. Uh, but she
nope,
goes,
that's exactly what I need to figure out. It'll help me
yeah,
live in peace a little while.
but she's in one of her better moods, you can tell, and she's talking to you, and but she says, it's hard to say with the gogglers, they're a strange lot. Ah, but they often go on pilgrimages to the surface. I sense that these are one such group. They're making way. They're bringing a great treasure, I sense, in that chest. Or perhaps some cursed item, but who knows with their type. I think they're on their way to the surface. I wonder who's in the divan, you called it? She says the word strangely. She's been picking up your tongue, too.
Mhm.
Now, there are a couple of you who are with uh, Cannon, and you see she's in a talkative mood. She avoided going out there, and she looks back, and she asked you, though, like, they're not coming in, are you? You can't trust the gogglers. They're always looking for sacrifices for their goddess. She's more bloodthirsty than, and she stops talking mid. What do we do? We
If
let them
nothing
just.
happens in like 5 minutes, Totlax is back out cold.
You hear snoring after a couple minutes, and she starts whispering, "What you gonna do? You just gonna let them camp there? They're gogglers." And you, there was
There's
some
plenty of
that
time. There's plenty of time for battle. I don't see a strategic advantage in killing them right now. We should at least try and enter their realm with as little noise as possible if we're going to get you home.
Yes, you're right. They can be dangerous, and they seem to be on their way. But I heard the other ones speak. I speak a bit of their tongue.
What did they say?
The other one, I just caught something as he was giving orders to the group. And then the others of his kind, you noticed there were 4 dressed like him surrounding that divan. They're guarding somebody in it or something. He said something about guard the princess. Princess isn't the right word. Their tongue is so strange. I don't know it well.
Princess.
But I'm tired.
A mother fish? A mother goggler?
Who
Is that what you
knows?
mean?
They're strange. And she kind of she goes quiet after Cannon, and she's staying near Gwyden, you noticed, and looking around. And go ahead, I'll let you guys take it now. The rest of you, some of you are on watch again, by the way. We're into the next cycle. We're at the beginning of the next cycle. So Bodica and Tolak. Tolak, do you want to wake him, Bodica?
No, they were the first one. Last one is
You guys
No,
just did the
it's
last watch. We're talking about the next cycle.
it's the next cycle now.
oh
My
okay, yeah.
I was going to sleep for the start of the next cycle if everybody else was going to get up, and then I've got like 6 hours of prayer to do afterwards.
Yeah.
Mm.
I just wanted a couple of extra hours sleep.
Is there any setting or environment, or do you need to do some praying and chanting? How does that look if you do your atonement?
Um, it doesn't have to be any specific time. I normally do it upon upon waking, so that's fine.
Okay, give me a
Uh,
wisdom check. And I often do this with clerics now. Right now, you have a good relationship with your god and things, but it's been stretched because you're in the Underdark and you've been pushing and pushing. It's not as easy as usual.
that's not good.
That's
Oh, wow. Um, there, as you realize, there's a close by, there's something close by, Gary, that's disrupting your mantras.
Hmm.
mm,
And, well, you Canon did mention that these were pilgrims of the goddess Bloodabloop.
The dual pool.
Dual bloop. How do you say that again, Brad?
Blib dual pool.
Dual poop.
Blib dual pool. I looked it up. You know,
that's
like
a
how
good
you
one.
say this.
Zhang has a question. If there's a special important person they're transporting and they're heading for the surface, we run into a certain, who the heck was it? Salem Klim back in Port Tolly. And he got away from us. I wonder if he's down here and heading back up again. He's
Yeah,
someone I'd like to run into again.
he was a priest of the goddess. Yeah, good
Mm.
call, Dean.
I will either if actually now that I'm thinking about it, if he's not in that caravan, he might actually be at the shrine. I wouldn't mind running into him again. There was a
Dean's
few
being
things.
Dean's being an overachiever here, remembering shit like that.
Mm.
Stop being an overachiever.
There's 2 or 3 things that have slipped out of our grasp in the last couple of years of adventuring, and I'd like to get my hands back on. He's one of them.
No doubt. He's the one who sunk the ship, brought the storm, and brought you all together, actually, and originally.
Blib.
Yeah.
Dude.
And later on, you encountered him at Port Tolly. He's part of the slavers who had, well, almost, yeah, he had the big scrap in the arena and everything.
Yep.
Yeah, indeed.
So I'm not able to recover spells then?
Yes, you
because-
are. Pardon me,
Okay.
I was just thinking about that. No, I have to retcon just a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah, that you can only change spells up to 3rd level.
I need to memorize the 5th and 6th and the 4th and 5th level ones. That's
And
the
then
problem.
you can no, okay. No, sir, I didn't want to punish you or anything. I'm thinking about how
if
to.
I can memorize spells that I don't like, if I'm not switching them out from 4th and 5th, that's fine because I had no 4th and 5th available.
Yeah, I
Well,
wasn't going to
it's-
say that. I was going to say you could rememorize your old spells.
Okay.
But I just kind of made that up at the moment. Pardon me, Gary. I was trying to think of something. No, I'm going to retcon that, Gary. Pardon me.
Okay.
At the wrong place and time. But you do sense there's something disturbing you close by, and it's not. You still, your God is angered by this. You can tell, and he's far away. There's tons of granite, but he's nearby, and you have a little token or something that you pull out.
I have a holy symbol still.
Yeah, but he's angered. There's, well,
Something interfering.
it either could be something in that arc, or it could be something else, or not. Who knows? You're troubled.
I'm just double checking how much stuff I have to memorize. So I have.
And I'll roll into Zhang and Hondo now. As actually, Bodica and Tolak, it's your watch now. And I just rolled, and nothing happened. Do you want to do anything during your watch besides keeping watch? And by the way, anyone else, what are you doing during the shift? Are you sleeping or so on? It's up to you as well.
Guess this would be the extra one for everybody to get their 8 hours on.
Exactly. Yeah, we're doing a lot of role playing tonight, by the way, everybody, and kind of getting a lot of things resolved. And you may want to discuss a little bit on the shrine, what you want to do exactly when you get there.
Yeah. And
Cannon is up, and she's you know that she's been to the shrine. She's also from the city. She's a native of Reli Sinlu. Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to take me basically the entire rest of the time just to memorize spells. So I'm not doing anything but prayer for the rest of this 8-hour block.
Good. And your God is pleased by that, and your spells, you feel the power coming back to you, and the recharge and that satisfaction. So far, so good. Now I'm gonna roll for random encounters again, so you might get interrupted.
Okay.
But we're now going to be going into Zhang and Hondo, because you're going to now be praying. Boudica, what are you going to do this shift?
This shift, it's the first watch. Is that correct?
No, our watch
Second
is already
watch.
done. We're the second watch of the second round.
I'm going to pray before bed.
You've already rested.
Oh,
And
okay.
this is the second cycle.
Right. In that case, I'm going to pray to Elistare as part of my my rituals.
All right. And anyone else doing anything? Silk, what are you doing on this cycle?
Yeah, I'm going to. I have a question for Tolax. Do you have any sort of cloak or anything?
No, I do not.
Well, you can take this, and I present him with a giant weasel fur cloak that's +2 versus cold. Because I've had it for a while and I don't use it, so might as well give it to somebody who's going to use it. Oh, might come in handy.
Giant weasels. Hide.
So it's a giant weasel cloak.
Yeah, so +2 versus cold.
So
Okay.
let you avoid cold damage.
Yeah,
It's a good insulator.
And you can look like a giant weasel if you wear it properly.
It's dark colored too, so it kind of helps you kind of hide a bit too. Dark brown.
Yeah, he's a little under equipped given he's lost most of his equipment in his flight, so anything is beneficial.
Yeah, keep
Okay.
you warm.
So
If nothing happens there with Zhang and Hondo will then lead right into their training, a couple hours of training after that, because everybody will have their rest time in by that point, and then they'll go right into training hard there. It's been a while since Zhang's had any time to take Hondo aside and actually continue her training, and spend some time with her on practice and stuff. So she needs to get up to speed on that.
So you find a spot and you square off and you go into your routines and, incorporate your different stages and so on and build up into your rhythms. A couple people are curious. I suppose it could watch.
And they're gonna go pretty
Canon
intensely at it.
Cannon herself, just to let you know, has spent some time on her own in the corner doing her prayers, and she has that weird kind of high-pitched crooning dirge to Loth that she gets into. Her eyes kind of roll up in her head, and she does that for a couple hours. But she is around. A couple other people are watching you, and you spend a couple hours just going crazy. And who's on watch at that point would be Gwyden Dredrick. Gwyden,
If you're watching Tolox's prayers, it looks more like a heavy cardio based workout more so than prayers, but that's what it is.
okay, wow, intense.
In that case, it doesn't look like a whole lot different than what Zhang and Hondo are doing. Just a different form.
Okay, Dredrick nudges Gwyden. Hey, Captain. And he looks, nudges, and you see that strange kind of monk-like Kuto now. He comes out of the shadows, not hiding or trying to hide. In fact, there's a sphere that seems to be hovering above his right shoulder, not attached to anything. It just seems to be perhaps magical. It's given off that weird kind of flickering aquatic light It looks like it's coming from under water or through an aquarium or something. And he's walking quite boldly into your guys' campsite, but stops when just as Drederick nudged Gwyden, and Gwyden, but he stops about 30 feet away and gives that odd bow. Ah, I could not help but notice that you have an acolyte among you. I wish to absorb. And he gestures towards the two fighters.
Gwyden or Zhang and Hondo?
He gestures towards Jang and Hondo, but he's talking to Gwyden.
Oh, okay.
Are you there, Scott?
I don't think I speak his language. I don't speak Undercommon.
Ah, and he looks, and he suddenly realizes, and oh. And Drederick shrugs at you. I didn't get much of that either, sir. He looks at you. And the creature bows, but he stands there and watches the others fighting. It's a ways away. And he speaks again once to you, and he seems to recognize, and he ignores you and walks by you. Or tries
I'm
to.
gonna follow him. I'll bow as he walks by, but I'm gonna look up.
He's tall.
As he walks by, I'm on his heels.
He's got at least 8 feet tall, and if he really stood up straight, he could be even taller.
And Tolox is doing this workout in full plate, by the way.
So there's a slide and clank of that, but it's not crazy loud. But he's good enough that he's not sounding like he's hitting a pan. But Zhang, you see the creature come into your guys' campsite, and he walks with a boldness. And Cannon kind of gives out a little eep and stumbles back a little bit, but it's too late. So she just stands up and kind of looks, and the creature tends to ignore them as he walks up and he sees Zhang and Hondo. Do you keep going or stop? Or I don't. You can actually. He comes up, and if nobody else interjects, he simply.
Zhang will basically come to a formal stop for what we're doing, and turn and face him and give him a basically a monk to monk bow to acknowledge his presence, and
he immediately bows back in that his fashion, but equal to yours in the depth and solemnly. And I did not mean to interrupt. I see a master teaching a discipline as it meant to be. Has she been scarred yet?
She has been in battle a few times and has gained several scars.
The righteous scar.
Sounds more specific.
Do you wish me to apply it?
Like a ritual scarification.
Excuse me, who is this interrupts our talk? It must be. And Silk, you were off to the side, and you said that. What language is this you speak?
He is speaking a surface language. He does. We do not use a scar to represent our training. We have different customs. Do you
want the scar? He says suddenly.
What is the scar in your customs?
You must formally challenge the other. And a scar must be administered. And you do notice now that despite his scales and such and so on, there is a scar under his left eye that is not covered up or anything.
Is it the winner of the challenge that gets the scar, or is it the loser?
The loser, if he survives.
If he survives, I I have been some time without a challenge, as we have traveled hard for an extended period of time. I will accept your challenge and challenge you. You're obviously skilled as well. We shall see who is the more skilled.
Oh, most excellent. I am the fourth acolyte. Oh, I forgot his name. Shit. Look it up real quick. It's a weird name. It's cool. Zupulip.
Zuulpulip.
There's a hyphen in our, yeah. Zuulpip. It's like zoo. Acolyte. You mentioned fourth acolyte. Now, and he goes, it is simple. No weapons.
We also have this custom, as some are fought with weapons, some are not. I can accept without weapons.
Without further ado, he unclasps a couple things, and his yellow robe is put aside, and you see the sleek form of this fish molded with human and what could be perfect blending in some way.
Mm-hmm.
And you realize his size and his reach are quick, and you also notice something about there's a slickness to their skin.
Mm-hmm.
Now, pardon everybody, you see suddenly that there's been something going on in your midst as these two kind of find a little spot in the room, and it seems like they're almost in unison. They go about 15, not even 10 paces apart, turn to each other and both bow formally, and then go into their reflective stances suddenly, and you realize they're going to fight.
Just before we do that, Jang will actually get Hondo to clear our stuff out of the way and
Oh,
tell
Hondo's
everybody
moving
that,
around quickly, yeah. It doesn't
yeah,
need to be said.
clear
you
everybody
see.
else out of the way. This is a formal challenge. And Jang gets ready to get down to business.
You didn't give your name, he says as he stands up, and he seems a bit
Sister
annoyed.
Zhang.
Or did you give your name?
No, I did not have a chance yet. So,
Oh, pardon me.
she'll bow. Sister Zhang of the Sky Heaven Temple.
Ah, excellent. And
Pulip, fourth acolyte. You are well met. We shall now carry on the challenge.
and you quick bow, and then you realize suddenly there's a foot coming around, and we have to roll initiative. And at this point, what level are you?
I believe 11th? Yes.
Okay, this guy is tough, Dean. He is a tough guy.
Oh, I'm not expecting anything else
He's
from a
got
fish.
a high
that
hit
big.
die. Yeah, he's one of their top fighters. In you realize, and you could tell he was just this incredibly cultured and articulate being. So at this point, I'm going to say, unless you have a specialty in surprising somebody, we're just going to roll die 6.
Yeah, no, just the regular monk surprise adjustment. That's it. But yeah, just to roll d6 to offset.
But he is quick
Initiatives?
for his size. Yep, just straight up then.
I got a 5.
Did it work? Oh, it didn't roll.
Jang will have taken her whip off and handed it off to Hondo and made sure that.
This guy is pretty tough. Yeah, it's impressive. Okay, go ahead. You're quick. You're quicker. His size. He seems to be testing you with his foot. It wasn't meant, perhaps, but you get in quick at your move.
Yep. Okay. So we'll just. We're already engaged, so I can't do any of that. So we'll just try one of these. What do we get? 3. Okay. So So she'll come back and try. 15 hits armor class -1.
Now this is bare fist, right? And foot?
Yep, this is just her straight up normal martial arts attack. None of her special moves yet. She's just
15.
using regular martial arts.
Pardon me. Give me 1 second, Dean.
Yep.
To look up something quickly. Make sure I got this right, because they have these oils they emit. I have to set up your your thing. Okay, hold
What's that?
on. That's a miss.
Armor class -1.
Better.
Oh. Okay, so she sees the foot coming around. She tries to go for a foot sweep on the other leg as she ducks down, but misses. Steps in closer to get more in range. Comes around with that left arm, and we'll try this and see if she can make it. No, that's not going to do anything. He somehow dodges back out of the uppercut that comes up with that left arm.
Oh,
And
I was going to mention something, Dean. This
Yep.
this guy is wearing very impressive bracers, I guess you could call them, on his forearms.
okay,
Very impressive, of alien make. Beautiful, wound about in like these weird kind of laces and stuff, and you sense that that's helping his armor class immensely.
parrying off with those and deflecting with forearm bracers.
Probably braces of defense, of really quite powerful ones.
Okay. Yeah, that was just a bad roll. That one's so we'll.
Yeah,
She gets the 3
But-
attacks, so
yeah.
just another straight up martial arts attack here. See, oh, and that one's even worse. So
Oh, you're moving
she
quick.
gets a wild swing off with a after that uppercut with come back with a cross and just misses entirely.
All right, so Gwyden and Drederick, you're kind of on watch. So unfortunately you're kind of can only watch this peripherally if you follow. But anyone else can watch if they wish, and you can see that there are two masters here going at it, and one has one has size and reach, and the other is darting in and out. But to your amazement, Zhang misses. You see, and this creature just fluidly moves like a fish. You can see it's twisting and moving. And it also, when Zhang got that one close call with the 15 roll, her blow actually hit, but it slid off the scales that were slick. And the creature spins, and that foot does come around in a roundhouse move. You can see that it has incredible range, but you duck easily underneath it. But it spins around to your amazement again. It's a double spin move he has.
Uh-huh.
And it comes around, and again you anticipate it, but you realize if it connected, it could, wow, the force as it whisks around, woof, 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 but misses. And you guys square off quickly, but it's not even a square off. The motion doesn't stop, as you see he's going into motion quickly. And we'll roll initiative again next round. Unless anyone wants to do anything, of course. I cast lightning bolt. Gwyden, and if everyone else is watching, I'm assuming no one else is on watch. So we have Gwyden and Drederick. You notice that there's a group approaching from the other encampment, and they come up, and you can see that there are 4 of these similar Kuo-toa to the other guy, but they're slightly smaller in stature perhaps, and different weapons, carry the same movement though, look pretty dangerous. But in their midst is a figure with a robe over its head. You can't tell what it is. It appears to be one of their kind, perhaps. Roughly 7 feet tall. Moves quietly amongst the four, and they come up. And I don't know if you want to get in their way or not, but they seem to be approaching the the, the challenge, shall we say? And can we take a few minutes break, everybody, real quick? I just got to run upstairs, check something.
Sure.
Yeah.
I hate to leave everybody.
5 minute
And
bio for everybody.
yeah, and everyone's patience appreciated as Zhang, and you can see that this is quite an interesting scrap, and something's happening here. And Cannon is kind of intensely watching, and there's a grin of delight on her face as she's used to seeing gladiators fight and such, and so on. So I'll be right back.
Okay.
Well, I have faith Jang's going to handle this. So.
Yeah, this other party coming in is probably coming to watch the duel or see what's going on if they don't know that that's what they were doing. But yeah, I don't think they're a particular threat at the present moment anyway. Yep, Zhang's being smart. Stay on him. Don't let him hang back and keep pummeling her. Yeah. It's harder to hit inwards than it is outwards.
So I'm trying to figure out here, do they think we are practicers of a similar religion?
I believe so.
Not necessarily. I think that they just see that Jang is another monk and another practicer of martial arts.
Yeah, there's probably certain things that are kind of universal amongst monks that they recognize in each other.
Okay. I am back. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you guys. Tell me where you are and what you're doing at this precise moment, and if there's something you're preparing or something you want to do. There's a party approaching. Their intent seems peaceful.
Yeah, I don't particularly feel threatened by them at the moment because they're probably coming over here to observe what's going on, or perhaps they knew that this duel was going to happen and they want to observe, I'm guessing.
Yeah. No, okay. So Silk, you weren't on watch, were you? No, it was Gwyden and Dreadrick.
No, I'm just watching. I'm just really interested in the moment of watching their different styles together.
Sure. Yeah, it's impressive to watch. Like, wow.
Yeah.
You didn't think, yeah, these fish guys, they're suited to it because they're so fast. They're like a fish.
Mm-hmm. And they got that reach. Yeah.
Yeah. Gwyden, what are you up to? You've been just...
I'm not going to stop the people who approached. This seems to me like this was designed as a fair fight. I'm not sure what happens if Zhang loses. We'll have to slow things down if things go bad, but I don't know why I would threaten or menace the new people coming through. So maybe I'll follow them to the edge of the kind of arena and then stay close, armed, and close.
Yeah, we definitely need to be alert because we don't know what their rules are. It could be to the death or something, and they don't even. But I think they probably would have mentioned something like that before the duel started. But you never know. So yeah, it's good for us all to keep on our toes.
Hmm.
They did say if the loser survives.
Oh really? You know, I missed that. Must enough. Dealing with my business.
Okay, so next round, you see the combat's happening. This strange troop joins your party, and you see one of the creatures. He walks up to Gwide, and anyone challenge him at all? I'll just roll randomly to see who's close by, because this one of these is carrying something, and they walk up to somebody.
No, I'm not challenging them, but I am staying close to them.
So Silk, they gesture, and this one reaches over, and he gives you this. Appears to be a glass vial, or gourd. Seems to be a gift.
Oh. Okay, well, yeah, I do the same sort of bow that I saw that monk one doing earlier as like a gesture of thanks.
You see that the one figure that's 7 feet tall pulls back its cowl now, and I guess you're looking at a female Kuto, and now you're like, oh, that's a female one, and you can tell that must be a female one, and it's got jewelry on of quite exquisite and ancient manufacture, perfection, like beautifully made. Um, and she doesn't bow like the others, but she just looks and turns back to the fight to watch it.
Yeah, well, I say thank you for the gracious gift, my lady.
In language, I guess Underdark.
Yeah, I'm getting fairly good at Undercommon by now. I've been studying it on my own and listening to everybody else, and I got pretty high intelligence, so I'm starting to pick it up fairly good, like maybe level 3.
Oh, and pardon me. There's also another character with them. It's one of the pilgrims.
Mm-hmm.
And this, you realize, is a very old Kutoa. One of its eyes is sort of a bit milky, and this one's stooped over somewhat, and you can see it's quite aged, and it's carrying the trappings of there's all sorts of shells and things like that woven into this vestment that has this articulated signs of these clasping lobster hands and so on. And uh, the thing turns to the princess, apparently, and says something, and the princess speaks back, and then you see that it's the old one who speaks in fluent Underdark.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Well,
your
there might be little
accent.
pieces I don't pick up. Yeah.
The mistress brings this gift in gratitude of your hospitality.
I thank you most graciously, and give them that. They return that bow.
I see they performed the scar ritual. Ah, surprising. And she is very good, is she not? You see the old guys kind of chuckle almost in a gargling kind of gobble gobble.
She is. I've seen her. We have been in many combats together, and I would
Let's go to
honestly,
that combat. Sorry, Silk, we come back to this conversation. You're with the old guy. The princess seems to just look over at the combat and ignore everybody else. And it's a strange party around this little eerie fire, and they have a couple of these glowing things hovering over them that light the place up. And they almost bring this air of sophistication to the place, you notice. They all have this bearing, and they seem old.
They're a very ancient race.
But they're solemn, and they settle in and watch. And let's go to the next round. Let's roll initiative. Jay?
Oh, we just did.
Oh, we just did. Right. Okay.
Yep. Each
Tie.
got a 2. Yeah.
All right, let's roll again.
Okay.
Just roll again. We'll quickly get going with the combat, and this time, Dean, it seems that you got the speed. You're quicker. That's becoming clear.
Well, let's see what we can line up here. See how this one comes off.
Yeah, Tolax hasn't really had a run-in with the Kutoa. He's, as far as I know, unless it's something you came up with, Gary.
No, he's just kind of moving closer. Should anything happen, he can make
Sure.
himself available.
So Sister Zhang, you move in with your move.
And that one clearly misses by substantial range, but then she comes back with that left hand and just can't quite get it. She's got one more she's got 4 attacks this round. So give me 1 second.
This guy has pretty impressive armor class, Dean. Just a heads up. Yeah.
Let's see what happens here. Oh, that one's he sees that one coming from a mile away. She's got one last one. She's going to try. She's finding strikes just aren't working on him. So this time she's going to switch it up and she's going to try for a chokehold to see if she can get something lucky here. She's going to try this one.
Choice.
That's one of her moves.
Damn. And he slips. You realize you didn't have a chance. There was something slippery on his hide. That's any grappling attempts, it says, in certain weapons are all -2 on these monitor types, they're called. Including
he's oiled up and slick like a wet fish.
Like a cod, yeah.
Like a cod.
And you guys,
Yeah.
and you notice the combatants part for just a second. He goes, 17 centuries ago, there was an order called the, and he says a name that's close to your order, a branch. I sense this, and he moves in quickly with his attack, and he was trying to throw you off a bit. You realize he's going to use one of his moves as kind of a taunt move, Dean.
Okay.
And so if he succeeds in the attack, you have to make a saving throw.
Okay.
Okay, the taunt is something lost in translation. But there was something about, like, it did hit home because you're like, he said to imply that you were just a school of his branch, he says in the old way. And but you water off a duck, and then he comes around and he does a move where he jumps up high and comes down with both feet onto you, and just it's a stomp move, a fish stomp move.
The fish stomp. That's how you get fish paste, isn't it? Oh.
Oh wow. Wow. Okay.
Ouchie.
There's 32 points damage.
Holy smokes.
Well, he did double.
Yeah.
I did four instead, and you have to make a saving throw,
Okay.
and it's going to be -4
On.
petrification polymorph to see if you're prone,
Okay.
and there's a chance you're stunned.
Still passed.
Oh yeah. And you have to make another saving throw to see if you're stunned at all. Oh no,
And what's
sorry, no, that was one roll. No, you're good.
It's all
You're not
one
stunned.
roll?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, pardon me.
Okay.
But 32 damage as this, and the air hits you, and everyone hears the ribs cracking, and your left clavicle kind of crack a bit, and where there's connections to your mechanical arm, you see that there's like weird fluid spill out suddenly, and a spark flies out.
Ouch.
But you manage somehow to get up, but there's blood trickling out of your nose, out of your nostril, You cough a bit, a couple times, but quickly get your composure back. And the others watched this sudden move this thing made, and you were all surprised at speed. Next round, roll initiative. That's tie. You back off. You guys try some moves. You go in and you block each other, and then nothing happens, and you find yourself parting quickly. And he looks and he goes, "That was 17 centuries ago. Now I see you have learned nothing all this time." And he tries taunting you again, but we'll roll initiative, of course.
One more time to split the tie.
Oh, and he keeps.
Oh,
Okay, roll again. Oh, did you roll a 4?
Yep.
But you're quick again, and you're. But his taunt is a quick taunt, and you have to make your save now to see.
this one is.
Yeah. Versus what are the saves again? Let me have a quick look here. This one was against. Nope, Petrification and Polymorph, same one,
Okay.
and it's -4.
That one was poor.
All right, so you're -2 in the next 1 to 4 rounds.
Just
For
find
3
something to get
Yeah.
under the skin.
Yeah. Taunting and spitting, and it's got to in your kitchen, right?
Okay, so we'll see what we can work up with him this time around. But I had to take a -2 off.
That's one of his attacks. He has that. That's their kind developed this mechanism. Everyone can see that Zhang is like bloodied and her left arm is sore, but it's functioning, and this creature is spinning around and fighting. Go ahead, Zhang. Oh,
Her lead-in strike just didn't find any ground. But then she uses that as a counter to come back with the that left hook. Let's see if she can land something here. That's just the 15 again. That's only
just
it's only armor class -1. So
yeah, this thing, that's a miss.
okay, so let's see what we can do here. This -2 is saved him
It's
that.
just a miss. Yeah, unless you let me double check, make sure.
Yeah.
Because you're level 12, right?
Yep. So that was comes up on the chart there as a armor class -1. Yep.
Yeah, but you don't have any plus to your attack.
There's no way for a monk to get a plus to an attack.
Oh, you don't get. Oh, I see. No strength bonus. Okay, fair. Yeah, because you're one off, man.
Yeah. The only one she gets the plus on is that mechanical arm because it's got the
Right.
mechanical aspect to it. But other than that, she gets no modifier on the rest of them.
Gotcha.
Hitting
All
the
right.
super high armor classes is challenging for a monk, but the middle armor classes they can lay a lot of damage down.
So the creature, after he taunted and you've done these 2 swings, he seems to be moving around, and you're trying to figure out what he's doing, why you can't hit him, and it's this ancient technique. He might be right. This taunting has gotten to you, and he might be right. And of course I'm taunting you too, Dean. And he swings around suddenly, and his arms leaps out, and this membrane underneath. He tries to fake. It has this sparkling rainbow hue in it, and you find yourself No, he doesn't. It doesn't work. The effect. You glance away quickly. What was that? You realize that was amazing. Okay, next round. Anyone want to do anything while this is going on? Now you see the princess hasn't really budged. She's watching this like a solemn occasion. Silk, you got this bottle of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, I'm just thinking about whether I should give them something in return. It would probably be the polite thing to do.
And Dean, I didn't realize the dice were going to go this way somewhat.
Yeah, ow.
There's only been one attack truly land out of the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
several
Wow.
rounds.
I'm just looking up what he needs to hit for sure to hit you. And your armor class is -2? Or
-3.
-3. Okay, yeah. Yeah, he needs to get pretty high to hit you too. That's for sure. He basically needs the same roll. He needs a 15 to hit you. No, pardon me. Yikes. I'm not going to mention. Yeah, he's tough. Jeez.
Yeah, because
You-
even though he's got
And-
probably a high strength, he gets no benefit
And
from it.
Zhang, you hear he's almost talking the truth. This
Yeah.
guy is a master of some ancient martial fighting.
Fighting
Wow, yeah.
Hmm.
And a lot of it is to do with this taunting, and the way their eyes look at you. It's disturbing. This 8 foot tall, 8.5 foot tall fish guy, and he's slippery and he has a smell. It's not, I'd say, unpleasant, but I don't know if you ever smelled a fresh fish. It's got a certain tang.
We like fishing, don't we, G?
Yep.
Yeah, we've had several fresh fish
There we go.
right into the boat.
I like it good. I like a good smell of a fresh fish. But when it's been sitting in the back of your boat for a weekend in the sun, that's another.
Much.
But this one does smell very clean and cultured. You recognize these people are amazingly high culture. So anyway, anyone else doing anything? Anyone else want to? Bodica, what's going through your mind? You see, Jang is hurt, but still very much in the fight.
Yeah, I'm getting worried about her. I know that she's strong and she'll pull through, but I'm getting a little scared because this guy is clearly trying to break her, and he's doling out some pretty powerful attacks.
Indeed. Anyone else want to do anything?
I'm gonna be looking to Zhang for when to step in. I mean,
Mhm.
Zhang, are you all right? Or you want to keep going?
All's good here yet.
And
Okay, I'm thinking of something.
okay. And let's do a round of combat then.
Okay.
Roll initiative.
I think I'll just put it in the.
Yeah, or go ahead, Brad, if you want. If you had something, I didn't mean to.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm going to offer them back another small token for appreciation for what they gave me and for being so polite. I'm going to offer them a small silver mirror.
A silver mirror. Does it have any particular properties or anything, or
It's
is it
not
just?
magical or anything, but it's just a very nice. It's just a really nice, high quality silver mirror. So that because I figured the lady might have some sort of use for it.
Okay, the old guy, it seems some priest character. He was with the pilgrims. He comes
Mhm.
forward, and before you can approach her, he kind of,
Oh
what
no,
do
I
we?
was giving it to him, not directly to her.
Oh, of course you were. And he delicately takes it in his big hands with his long manicured fish nails. Interesting. Yes. The surface dwellers have different means of making these devices, do they not? And he engages you in some conversation with one eye as the other eye watches the fight.
Yeah,
I'm afraid that the master, what was his name again? Shit. Shuliplip is rather a master of the ancient arts. I'm afraid what is her name? Sister Zhang?
okay.
Ah, I hope she gets the scar, he says, kind of
Mm.
wistfully.
I as well. Although I know I'm not terribly familiar with the rituals of monks. But
Well,
I have ways of creating scars too.
ah. Oh. And did we roll initiative, Dean?
Yep, that's it up there.
Okay,
So,
go ahead.
Okay, so
You're
Zhang's
minus 2 though,
yeah,
as
for another round yet after this one.
you're shaken. Yeah. And you can go into defense mode as well.
Yeah. Now at this point, she's still going to go with the offense, see how things work. She's going to change it up though and go with the left hand attack first, and see what changes up there. Oops, nope, that's not how that enters. Oh, and again a 15.
Yeah, and you get good damage and whatnot.
Yeah. But then she's going to try after going high, she's going to try go low and take a side kick to his ankle and see if she can catch him looking up instead of looking down. Oh, and it looks like she did. That's a 19. That's armor class -5.
Oh yeah, you definitely
12.
connect low.
12 points of damage there.
Yeah, and a straight up hit.
Yep.
And everyone sees finally that Zhang gets a strike. And how do everyone react, by the way, as you're watching this? You all sitting back, or anyone?
Not super exuberantly, but
yeah. And
at least. Yeah.
Again, for her last one, she's going to try and get another hold on him, see if she can get a chokehold and maybe turn her fortunes around here and see what happens here. She's going to use that where he stumbles on that kick to the ankle to see if she can get a good hold on him. And a 12's not going to do it.
No, sir. If
she can possibly land a chokehold.
This creature kind of flows with you when you go into a chokehold on it. It kind of tries to reverse that and do it. You realize it's trying to lock your arm as it moves quickly into this. And you do recognize the move, and it was going to dislocate your shoulder and put you in a shock move. Perhaps, but you anticipate and quickly remove your arm, and the creature backs out. Now that was a big move it did right there. If it would have grabbed you there, that's all it had to do that round. So you both roll away and get your feet, and we'll roll initiative next round. Everyone's still watching.
Yep.
And you see that a few of the slaves aren't around. There's just the 4 monks and the priest pilgrim. Seems to be some cleric priest. And the fight goes on. You can intercede if you want to do something or something's going on. Cannon comes up to Boudica, by the way, just before we go on. He won, by the way, Dean.
Yep.
Cannon comes up to you and speaks in Drow. So, I bet you that little pretty trinket on your finger there that your friend loses. No? She's a bit of an upstart anyway. Snob, I say. In return, I will listen to one of your lectures about moons and such you always talk about. And she points towards your ring of free action.
I do not bet again. It's in poor taste to bet on one's friends.
Oh, poor taste? Not at all. You are betting for your friend. I am betting against the goggler, or for the goggler. I can see he's gonna kick Zhang's ass.
So I am I am not one to gamble, especially not for or against my friends.
That's what I thought. And then she goes back, you see, and takes her spot. You recognize close by Gwyden again, or she goes out. No, pardon me. She stands beside you, kind of looking at you strangely. You had your chance, and we're on our combat now. The creature this time is not taunting this round. He is moving around again. He's spinning into a double roundhouse kick move. Pivoting. You anticipate. Oh, that 16 is just what he needs, Dean. The second one, though, again, caught you off guard because you duck again, but he swept. He anticipated your move. And that will be... Actually, monks start to do some damage at this point, don't they?
Yep.
But 11 points damage.
Okay.
And it's your move. As you're caught and hit. And everyone hears the thump as his feet catches Zhang in the hip. And you can feel her whole side twist as the force of this creature, he must weigh excess of 700 pounds. Can pivot its weight behind a hit, and you can hear everybody that crunch.
Yeah. So he's not taunting now?
Nope.
I'm good on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not -2 anymore.
Okay.
It's
So
only
she's...
yeah. He did a double kick instead. If he did one kick, he could have taunted you for another round.
Okay. So we're going to start off with leading with that arm. After that, she's going to roll with that hit, roll in, and try and come up with an uppercut with that left arm. Oh, ever so slightly of a miss.
Darn, yeah. Not getting the dice aren't being friendly.
Yep.
He
So
moves.
instead, she's going to turn around and try and go for she's already down at crouch from that uppercut, and then going to go with another kick to the opposite ankle, try and slow down his mobility.
Okay. And how are you?
That's
Whoa.
a critical.
I was just going to say something, but I'll retract it for the moment.
So
but your damage, you've rolled terrible.
Yeah. So she faked with the uppercut with that arm because he's noticed that it's a powerful mechanical arm, and she used that as the feint to line up the ankle.
Wow.
So that was 2. Yeah. She gets 4 this round.
Double damage. She did 16.
Is that a stun too?
Possibly with the natural 20.
Now, monks aren't immune to stun, right? They don't get that.
Stun or incapacitate. Let's see. How's that?
Just thinking real quick. He is technically an 11th level monk, Dean, just to let you know.
Yep. Make a saving throw versus paralyzation.
Because I remember they're immune to certain things as they progress, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, he made his save. I was gonna go with that. He gets a save, or
he's not stunned or incapacitated, but he does take damage. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so I'll go with that. If he would have failed his save, you could have stunned him for 1 to 3, 1 to 4 rounds.
Yeah, something
would
like
have been,
that. Yeah.
And then he would have been -4 and stuff to attack, and -2 on defense, and so on.
So that was 2 attacks out of that. So
good hit. He crack. So you hit him in the side this time, and despite the oils and such, his movement, you feel ribs crack on him.
So here comes the third one. Oh, and that's a 16, but again, only for 8 points of damage.
Oh, yeah, and you're hitting him.
So catch him there. Come back up with a cross into the opposite ribs. One ankle, ribs on the other side. Rock him back and forth.
Just add
And now with him rocked back both ways, she's going to try one more time to jump up and do a different choke this time. Not quite what he's seen before.
Mhm.
Oh, and she flubs that one into a backflip.
Ooh, and yeah, I'm not doing fumble criticals or anything at this moment, but it looks a bit ugly, and you can tell it that he just kind of nudged you with his hip and sent you cartwheeling to the side, and he kind of
Yeah.
let you do this roll and come up, like he just kind of just, and you can see he almost gave you like a
A
such,
push away, basically, to
yeah, control
that hurt.
yourself.
Get out of here.
And next round, we'll do a quick round, and then other people can act. But it looks like we may be getting a conclusion here, one way or another. How are you looking, Dean? Like physically and such? I didn't look at your hit points, what you have left and such, but
Rather poor. She's down under a third.
And Tolox has continued to move closer.
okay. The creature comes in aggressively with what appears to be a flurry of punches, just straight on, and
Okay.
it's articulated in a really weird pattern. He does this weird move, and it becomes a blur.
Okay.
What he
So
basically,
he's coming at her this time aggressively.
yep.
Okay.
Yeah, he
See where
just
the
won
dice
initiative
land today.
again. So he gets 4 attacks this round.
Oh, one of them makes a connection.
One of them makes a connect. Yes, but these attacks do. 1 second. He's pretty deadly with this stuff. 12 damage.
Okay. Well, she's still standing, but she's not looking pretty.
And it's your move.
Yeah. Well, she was waiting for one of those really big charge attacks to come in, and she's going to try to turn that on him with Dragon Takes Bolt of the Mountain, which is exactly what a charging person does. She just basically grabs him, trips him, and launches him with that big throw, and
Oh, wow.
tries to see if she can land that big throw on him.
And everyone else, you saw this creature comes in with amazing moves, and Zhang is pummeled and blood splattering, bones cracking. But
As he comes in, he's so committed forward. She grabs him by one of his arms, braces on both of his knees, falls on her back, and lifts him over her head and slams him into a wall behind her for 29 points of damage.
wow. And yeah, and he feels it. You can hear crunching, and now he's got blood coming out of one of his nostrils, and one of his eyes is kind of bloodshot red. And it takes him, he's not quite as fluid as he comes up, and one of his shoulders he realizes is damaged, but he quickly crunches it. You hear this, and he puts it back in. And I just have to tally some hit points here a minute.
Yep.
And
see how close he is?
now let's give everyone else a chance just to what's going through your minds. If you want to say anything or do anything, you see Cannon. There's an arm gripping your forearm again, Gwyden. You see Cannon's, and she's looking intensely, just like, wow.
That was her first attack of
3. You did 4 last time.
last time. Okay, yeah. I was trying to figure out what round we were in. I couldn't remember what round we were at. So, yeah, if nobody else does anything, I've got a couple more attacks yet.
Just double checking this guy's hit points.
Yeah. That's some serious hits he's taken now.
Okay, help me tally up how many hit points you've done. This guy's got Dean. He's got a lot of hit points. But this has
29,
been very
60.
interesting. Yeah, because you did 16, 8, 24, and then what'd you do before 28, 24? Because you did your first hit.
29 in this last hit.
Yeah, I got that one, but I'm thinking way back. There was one I missed because I got
Yep.
24 and 29 is 53, and then there's one more I missed.
And
12.
go
I think
back
it's
up.
12.
And another 12. Yep.
It's 53 plus 12 is 65. You've done 65 damage to this guy.
Mhm.
He's bloody too, but you see he's not as and he recognizes it too, and he stops for a second, and he says to you, "You may bow out now if you wish. There is no dishonor in this."
I will
Rolox
take-
wants to be close enough that if he has to break off his prayers, he can jump in and cast a spell. He has from yesterday, so he already had it memorized. He has a sorry, give me a second. Bring it back up. He has a Death's Door spell memorized from yesterday that if he needs to, he can use it.
Okay, so anyone else? Everyone's watching. You can see that this is a very deadly combat. It appears like they're really serious.
Zhang acknowledges his statement, stops for half a second, says, "I'll take your surrender if you do it now."
He bows. So be it. Now, you have, I say this to you formally. Stand still. And he moves into this weird stance in front of you. And you're breathing a bit heavily. Your shoulder is like, you feel it shattering and crinkling. There's damage done.
Yeah. She still has attacks this round, but she's giving him like that half second to call it after that hit and not finish her attacks for the round. Or if he doesn't put it out, she's going to try and put him out.
Okay, so
she's going to make the formal, like, I'll take your surrender right now if you want it, but I just scored the major.
he goes, I will give you the scar. Stand still. And he goes into the stance and he goes to strike you. Do you accept it?
I hold on and say, hold on, like, is that your surrender or my surrender? Because I'm not surrendering.
No.
I thought the loser got the scar.
Okay, so you don't surrender then?
Me? No,
Yeah.
I just scored a major
Yeah.
turnaround.
Okay, yeah. Oh, so he goes, roll initiative. Because he's
I've
coming
still
in.
got several attacks this round.
Still got 2 attacks left this round.
Oh, okay. So, okay, give me 1 second. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I say. Like, I just scored
Yeah,
a major strike
Yeah,
on him.
yeah,
I'm
you
not
did.
surrendering.
Yeah. And you did 55 damage, right?
No, we were up to 60.
65.
65, okay.
So let's see where we head here.
And he seemed surprised you did that a bit. He was like,
And there's another solid one for another 9.
And you turn and you go back at him. Now, did you said, do you take surrender? Okay.
Give you the scar.
Anyway,
He
you
said he was
come
gonna-
in and you clip him.
Yeah.
Ugh.
And now I will take your surrender again if you wish.
That'll take one of your
Call the fight.
attacks if you formally ask him that. You have 1 attack left, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take that to offer him the chance not to die and actually lose the fight.
Okay, he steps back and bows.
Yep.
We are close, but I see you are weaker. We must continue. If you do not submit, on guard.
We shall see who finishes who.
And then you
Jake's
hear
willing to
this
carry it to
voice carry out. And it's the princess, as you've come to know her. Wrong word. And instantly the monk character kind of stops. And it calls out. And the monk character, you can see None of you speak Kotuo, right? But you see Cannon kind of perk up, and that grip on your forearm tightens a bit. You notice? And he goes, "Ah, see, she's the one. Watch her." She whispers to you, Gwyden. And the guy stops mid-stride, and you can see almost like a flush come over this Kuto, if such thing's possible in a cold-blooded creature. But he immediately stops and bows again. "Ah, I am remiss. You have fought well, and I do not submit, and I formally ask this time to withdraw from combat. There will be no scar given today. There is no honor served. I am shamed."
Why are you shamed? You have fought a very respectable fight. We have both taken lots of damage. We have both delivered lots of damage. There's
Ah,
honor in a good
You-
duel.
you do not understand. I see. And now the language problems are coming in here now, because you realize the scar is a mark of honor in our kind. If you accept it, and you take the chance that the blow will be lethal, it is a great mark in our kind. If you had accepted my blow and survived, you would have walked freely among our people. Indeed.
Ah, I am not aware of this tradition. It has never been broached to me.
It is a difficult strike, though. It may blind you or kill you.
You have still fought well.
I have been scarred. I cannot accept that now. There's no surrender for me. I die.
For losing the fight?
No, I cannot surrender next time. If we fight, it will be to the death.
Ah. Okay.
I have been scarred. It cannot happen twice.
Ah, now I begin to understand.
Should have taken the scar, I think.
I haven't been scarred yet, so I could take a scar, but not from this fight. Or from this person, apparently.
Well, he still could, but he can't take another scar. He's been scarred. He's been marked.
Yeah. So essentially the scar means you have lost one fight and survived.
No, actually, you realize you're missing something here too. There's some honor-bound ceremony element in that you're supposed to actually expose yourself to a strike. And in that way, you're achieving the ultimate honor
That's how you get
by
the
saying you don't fear death. And if you die, you die, and if not, you have the mark to prove that you face death in their culture.
Ah, it's
And
a cultural thing.
he explains that to you somewhat.
Again, I am sorry. I've never encountered this culture or ritual. I'm sorry to have dishonored you.
You fought in the old ways, I could tell, so I gave you the benefit. But now you will be questioned.
Mhm.
Maybe perhaps another opportunity. You fought well.
Likewise, you fought well and fought very, very well.
If you wish, I can still perform a ceremony, but it has very great risk. It will blind you if it fails.
What is the essence of this ceremony? I am bound by certain honors of my own.
No, actually, the moment's passed. Pardon me. I shouldn't have played that. Pardon me, Dean.
Okay.
Yeah, it was an honor. You are a good fighter. And I do
Likewise.
believe that we shall retire now. And he sees, well, you're both in pain, but you're both trained to curtail that.
Handle that.
Sure.
Yeah. Likewise, you are a powerful warrior,
And they
true
sit back for.
representative of your kind.
And anyone wish to interact or do anything during this time? You see that suddenly they're not fighting anymore. The princess said something though, and he stopped fighting.
Can Zhang sit in contemplation for a while and try and figure out what actually happened there, even though she doesn't understand? There's obviously some tradition to this or some ritual to this, but she's not aware of.
Yeah, and you realize he still had some fight in him,
Mm-hmm.
and he had 90 hit points.
He was still getting close.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
90 hit points. Yes, I had to double check and look him up. He's a tough guy.
Yeah.
He's one of their high monk warrior types when they're more sophisticated. And you realize that their culture is very sophisticated, and that when you get to the shrine, it's going to be interesting. They seem
Not just
interested in
crazy.
talking with you though, and conversing somewhat. And the princess seems somewhat drawn towards Boudica and the females in the group a bit. And she comes over, and through the interpreter of the old man, the old priest, he asks in his blooping voice, "What brings you to the Underdark? Such a strange-hued drow of their kind. Surely you don't carry the pure blood of
Heather?
their kind?" Oh, maybe.
Light elves here. Light elves within earshot.
Okay.
The truth is, I do not carry the pure blood of the drow. No, you are correct.
Are you certain there's the blood of nobility in your veins? We can smell it. And you can realize they can smell it.
Yeah. Sadly, I know little of my ancestry.
Ah. Yes, you've spent time on the surface. We smell that also. And all of your kind. We smelt them long ago. We were on alert. That's why I sent out. And he's talking like the princess, but she's talking to him, and he's just interpreting it fluently, like it's instantly. And it's kind of strange, but seems. And you kind of look at her, and she seems genuinely curious. Where do you go? He suddenly asks, and almost has an inflection like she does.
It is a matter of personal interest.
Ah, surely you're going to the shrine. This is our home. This is the princess. She is one of the Sabrera of the prince.
Among other places, yes.
Sounds disappointed, moves on. After a little while, anyone want to talk with the princess? Seems genuinely curious, this fish goggler. Cannon avoids her, doesn't trust her. And after a while, they go back to their encampment, if nobody else. The old guy's looking at the mirror curiously. He's like, all right. Looking at himself in one fish eye. And without further
I'm curious why Canon, what Canon thinks of the princess here. What role does she play in the politics of the Kuo-toa?
Yeah, her knowledge is limited from Conan or Canon. Again, she mentions it's like, yeah, their nobility. It's rare that they leave the shrine. You talk to Cannon again, and she's in a talkative mood again. She's a very good mood, and she liked that fight put her in a good mood watching Silk and the Goggler go at it in the blood. But she's like, it's rare when the nobles go outside their shrine, and one of the princess, she must be one of the sisters of, perhaps, of the High Prince himself. You see, they usually marry each other, the male and females, brother sister, and form like this pharaonic priesthood sort of hold over their shrine. Despicable, she says. Imagine that with a male, a brother. She might be important though, she says. And she looks toward. Now you see that Zhang.
Yep.
Shu Lip Lip is still talking with you, and he says he mentions about 17 centuries ago, when they had outposts on the surface, and oh yeah, their people ruled vast tracts of land and ocean on the surface before going underground. And back then is when your branch, they say, we trained you. You were slaves that escaped with our knowledge. He claims.
Would be an interesting conversation to trace that ancestry in history. I know not my own family because I was orphaned to the monastery, so it is my adopted family.
See, that is part of the tradition because your sect was made from slaves. See? Your monastery keeps this tradition. They take the slaves and train them. It is simple. You will come from us. Your moves show that. If we fight again, you will lose.
On any given day, anything can happen. It may well be me.
I will give you that scar one day, and you may walk freely amongst us, and then I can train you. Teach you some of the old ways. You know nothing about taunting, I see. Nothing. You had no defense.
Indeed, that was a move I have not seen. We'll have to try and understand if any of the masters know that one.
And I'm going to move aside here to Gary a minute. Tolax, you've been watching all this. You got a good sleep. You've been praying and doing your thing. But the show's really been this big fight and all this stuff going on. What's going through your mind? And before we kind of move it forward and break camp, and they go their separate way and move to the ferry, and you guys move your separate way, anything anyone else want to do? But Gary, will give you your chance first if there's anything you had in mind.
I only speak common, so I can't understand anything that they're saying, so I'm really not picking up much.
Someone could translate. We often have a default.
I almost want to ask them what they're transporting, just straight up, and see if they're willing to answer.
So you want to join the conversation?
Oh, I might be able to spare a couple of minutes.
Sure. And
I could be the middleman. I could probably translate.
So you're human, right?
Yeah.
So when you come close, the princess goes, isn't that a slave? It is a Pawande. Do you let it talk amongst us? She says that to Gwyden and Boudica. But you ignore it. Go ahead, Boudica.
I was going to say, in our culture, he is not a slave, but a free man.
He does not bear the collar. What does he ask?
I translate what he asked.
I'm curious with regards to what they carry with them. Its markings are unknown to me, and I'm curious what it is.
You can see that she almost looks around, pondering in her gargling way, but before she can say anything, the pilgrim speaks up and goes, That is a matter between the priesthood of the Kuta. It is a trivial item of no worth, but great worth to our kind. You understand?
I didn't expect much of an answer to begin with, to be honest.
Oh yeah, for sure. But he shut her down and he was just like, it's none of your business sort of way, in a politeful way. And he looks around and goes, by the way, we gave you some elixir. It'll help raise consciousness briefly, you'll find. And in its own way, it's a elixir, a brandy they make from unknown weird ways, but it's basically acts as a potion of divination. You can use it for whatever manner to commune with spirits or gods. And someone roll six-sided to see how many doses it has.
Keep it to me, so I should probably.
And I'll roll the ball forward if everyone's ready. Or has
I'll give
anyone...
it as well.
Okay, you have one dose of divination.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
This is
Oh,
that interrupted the training time, right?
yeah, they came over because this guy, you realized, was super sneaky, man. He had been hiding in shadows and moving silently. Had been making rolls. He'd rolled amazing. And he had been watching you guys somewhat, but not, anyway, not pushing his luck. He's very good. He's a multi-class, by the way, that guy.
Oh, really?
11th level monk, 11 level assassin.
Holy crap.
So he didn't break the poisons out and shit.
He was still keeping an honorable fight, but still had it in there.
Oh, he's tough. You just
Yeah.
fought one of the courtiers of the court.
Holy smokes. To a draw, basically.
And I wonder, I was tempted to push it on because I think he would have I'm not sure if you would have survived, Dean, how many hit points he had left. And he didn't have a lot. He had more than you, though.
Another hit. I wasn't going to take that chop from him because I probably wouldn't have survived it.
Ooh, but if you did, you would have had the scar.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure he could do more than 6 points of damage with a hit. So
Well, it
I wasn't going to
depends.
take that chance.
Yeah, well, you're right, and well,
I
see,
was-
you might have taken that you had to go down.
Yeah.
Too.
I was going on the last ditch attempt that I had a couple of attacks left. And I could knock him down before he got
Right.
back around to hitting me.
Sure.
Yeah, we can
But
do
I
that.
was going on my training of
Sure.
ritual.
But you
Well,
sensed
that's why I
something.
tested already. Yeah, it was good move.
Something was missed, but whatever. That's how it played. You did break honorably in a way, like, because what she reminded him of, and Canon says this to Gwyden, is she said those are not the rules. She said, and apparently, if you offered the strike, there was something going on there. Anyway, and he had basically gotten his head to him, his temper. Their kind are known to be insane, by the way, the Kutoa. It's one of the reasons why they're in decline. A lot of them
So
go nuts.
my
Yeah,
offer
that's
to have him surrender, that was where I should have offered him the scar instead, and that would have been the end of
No, because he had a scar already.
it. Ah,
So he had to accept death or something else. You missed, and I'm not sure exactly. Maybe he could have just said to end the combat. Say,
Yeah. Okay.
But I
Anyway.
also was going to play that he would have let you strike him, and if you wouldn't have killed him, he would have fought you, killed you. But anyway, it didn't play out that way. Because you might not have been able to kill him with one strike.
Maybe not.
He had like 20, 25 hit points, so
Yeah.
it would have been actually pretty hard to kill him with one strike.
So we still have a few hours before we pack up and leave,
Sure.
but there's definitely time for that cleanup right now. And Zhang's got some bruises she needs cleaned up.
6 hit points left, I'll say. And you just finished your double long rest.
Yeah.
As
She
it's
just got back up to comfortably full and is right back to next to nothing.
indeed.
Yeah,
And everyone,
Ooh.
yeah.
Uh,
Well played, everybody. That was some fun combat, and I realized everybody was kind of in the gallery.
At that point, she will ask for a little bit of healing for anybody who's got anything at the moment, and then invite all the ladies to a private cleanup behind a screen somewhere, because that's where she wants to go right now. She's got some swelling on the one side there that's got to go down just a little bit.
Indeed. Excellent.
Golok needs to finish his prayers first.
Yeah.
Well, my prayers are completed, so I can heal you. I can give you a heal serious or cure serious wounds. Let me just pull up my die roller. I'm AFK right now because I had to feed the baby.
Okay.
I can hit mine if it works for you.
It's okay. There it is. Okay, so D8. So there's 8 and 15. 8 plus so that's 20 points of healing.
Okay, that makes her feel a lot better.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
Visibly better too. Bruising and such. Her eye suddenly opens. Bruising disappears. It's Silk and Mongo's turn, by the way, last of the shift.
Silk goes over to Zhang and says, Zhang, I just want you to know that I really had to fight the urge to take bets on your fight. It was so difficult, but I knew that it wouldn't be classy, so I did that for you.
Yeah, but that big throw, I mean, like that was pretty impressive, wasn't that?
I winced for you, mate. Oh, all right.
So anyway, Zhang's
That's
going to
tough
take
now.
Hondo and invite Boudica along, and actually even invite Arcadia along to clean up, seeing as we've got a few hours left before we got to go and do a proper cleanup before we hit the road again, if she's interested in joining us.
Well, Cannon, give me a charisma check.
Cannon? Or Boudica?
Well, no, actually, Zhang, to see if you can convince her to join you in this social event. The girls' little bonding or not.
Actually, she got exactly her charisma.
And Cannon is grimy and a mess. You're all grimy and a mess despite the rest, and I'm a poet. She, to your surprise, agrees.
Okay.
And
So,
Boudica, you're going to join them?
Yes.
They're all going to get cleaned up and tend to each other? Silk tries to sneak in. I heard that.
at which point you will find Hondo still has access to her Naginata and meets you about 4 feet short of the curtain as the front end comes up.
Spoil sports.
I was actually going to go ahead and have Silk make that move silently check opposed to my alertness. If I catch it, someone's eating a glove.
Smack.
Yeah.
Oh, Silk, you could
actually,
try
the full
sneak in
button, the
there.
Full metal gauntlet.
No, that's not what I'm really doing.
Yeah.
That would be. You should make a roll,
Go on a
Silk.
little recon because we've been very distracted by what's going on internally. Nobody's looked really on watch, particularly right now. So I'm going to take a little recede just around where, just a little bit in front of us, not towards where the Kuto are, but just have a little look ahead of us.
Little
Couple hundred
scuttlebutt.
feet each way. Make sure nothing's scooting in on us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to all probably hide in shadow.
All right, so you're going to do a recon and things. Now, you all realize that we're going to be moving soon. You're starting to break camp. And Zhang, you're kind of like, you're still sore. You're still bruised. You were like, I expected to get a good rest and such. And you see the other group is now breaking camp, the Kutoa. They went their own way, of course, shortly and said goodbye. I'm not. I guess I kind of rushed that. I'm not sure if anyone would want to do anything, but apparently there was no hostilities. It was very civil.
Surprisingly civil, actually. Um,
Yeah.
as we're actually packing up, and um, um, Zhang's going to actually gather everybody up as we're starting to pack up and say, like, we got to make a plan. We've got a few days till we hit the shrine here, and we really need to have a plan ahead of time. The outpost and the troglodyte thing showed us how badly things can go wrong when we don't have a plan. We really need to know what we're going on, and that means Silk, you're not casting spells walking through the door.
uh, and pardon me, I didn't mean to rush either. Their entourage leaving real quick. Sorry to interrupt, Dean.
Yep.
I was actually thinking about I might have to go here pretty soon. I was going to wrap up the session here, actually, and say that we're at the end of the shift. You guys are going to break camp. You see the others are going to break camp. There's still things could happen, but we'll start the next session where you guys are heading off down the main passageway. They're going the other way, unless you guys think of something you want to say or do. Anything anybody want to do at the end here, Dean, as you were saying that you
maybe
need a
we
plan.
can start off the next session with the plan for the shrine. But we know from our map that we've got a few days, maybe 3-4 days, something like that, and we're going to be there. We got some map choices to make. We got some choices on what we're going to do when we get there. Chang actually has an offer for Arcadia if she wants to join us in picking up our friend at there. Maybe even offer to continue her escort back home if she so wishes to continue that. We had made arrangements previously to the shrine. We'll see what happens there, and if she wishes to continue to be escorted, we can possibly come to another arrangement
Okay.
there.
And also, one thing I'll mention, everybody, is that I didn't mean to rush things at the end. I'm going to pull back the clock a little bit, even to where you're all still guests. The fight's just ended. You're just healing Zhang somewhat, and you realize that the monk guy's being healed as well by the priest. And there's still guests. We'll start the next session because I didn't want to slip over a chance for diplomacy or something, or to get some information about the shrine and so on.
Mm-hmm.
There's a great opportunity here. This is a princess from the shrine, and you're going to the shrine.
We could.
So far, yeah, you've gotten along well with them. They're very curious. You realize, like your surface dwellers, they're like, "Ooh, you're from the old world, from the surface."
Yeah. And
Where the sun is.
Yeah, exactly. And
where the sun is, the hot thing that dries you out. Yeah, and I mean, actually, if we were inquiring about Leto, inquiring about a slave may not be real big concern to them. Like,
bingo.
it's like an offhanded comment, like, we're looking for this particular guy. Oh,
We're
that
looking
was
for
a slave.
somebody.
It's
Yeah, exactly.
we're
Oh,
looking for.
we sold slave number 23 to so and so. It might be as simple as that, or it
Yeah,
could be
exactly.
something
Like,
else. That's exactly what I was kind of nudging toward. Is here's somebody who could actually have open doors in the shrine. If now
oh, you need so and so. Speak to this one.
now things are going well so far, but anyway, it was a fun session. There was a lot of role play. Dean, congrats. This guy
Thank you.
didn't kill you, and you didn't kill him, obviously, but.
One thing I would ask Darren, we haven't had experience in a little while. If you could throw that at us next time, I'm pretty sure Zhang's pretty close to going up a level.
Last two
So,
sessions, yeah.
since the fight with the dwarves there, the Durgar.
Yeah, and that everybody gets 18,000 XP. And Gary, I'll get your numbers as well. Pardon me. Actually, Gary, let's just put you in the middle of the cleric, 10th, like your 10th level, right?
Yeah.
Let's put you at midway start. So whatever XP that happens to be.
Okay, I'll find the number.
And then for this session, I'll work out some things, and there might be a bonus or not for a couple characters. But anyway, I'm gonna make some supper. I didn't. Been a busy day.
Yep.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay.
My dear.